when Veronica Sterling shrieked common property right into the face of my brand new hydraulic mahogany gate. She had no idea she was messing with a retired Navy Seabee who specialized in documentation and demolition, and boy, was I about to systematically dismantle her entire world. C for Thelonious. Her precious chardonnays and chart society had completely hijacked my 6-slip private pier. Every Tuesday night, 12 entitled women in linen dresses and absurdly large sun hats, acting like they own the entire coastline of Pebble Creek Shores, Oregon. They didn't just use my dock, they occupied it. We're talking spilled cheap rose staining the pristine decking that my Uncle Silas had hand-oiled, cigarette butts floating in my private slips, and enough lipstick-stained plastic cups left behind to fuel a small recycling plant. I'd inherited this property, the main house, and the standalone pier from Uncle Silas, a crusty, brilliant engineer who hated people but loved the sea. He built that pier back in '82, poured 20 grand of his own money and sweat into it, and made darn sure it was on its own separate parcel, lot for B. It was his sanctuary, and for months after I moved in, it was mine too. A quiet slice of peace after 3 decades of military chaos. Then Veronica showed up, the self-appointed queen of the Pebble Creek Shores Hoa, wearing a smile that didn't reach her eyes and a blazer iron so sharp you could cut glass with it. "Oh, hi there, Marcus," she chirped, watching her ladies unload to coolers overflowing with wine onto my railing. Just taking advantage of the wonderful community amenities for our little book club. Hope you don't mind. I remember the audacity of that moment. It hit me like a rogue wave. This isn't a community amenity, Veronica. It's my private pier. My uncle built it on his land. Her smile froze, then morphed into that tight, calculated smirk politicians use when they know they're lying. Well, there must be some confusion. Waterfront access always falls under shared recreational covenants here. "I'll have the board look into the paperwork," she said, dismissively patting my arm, treating me like a bothersome golden retriever. The paperwork she was referring to, of course, was whatever her husband, State Senator Greg Sterling, could magically discover in the municipal archives. They declared the pier common property, and that was that dot, but it didn't stop there. Instead of just using it, Veronica started charging a $75 pier maintenance fee to her club members and anyone else she granted access to, literally profiting off my private property while simultaneously telling me I had no rights to it. Every Tuesday became a nightmare of shrieking laughter that carried across the water until 1 a.m. The smell of diesel mixing with cheap perfume and the kind of pretentious gossip that made my teeth ache. They were running an unlicensed commercial operation on my deeded land, and the HOA's only response was to send me passive-aggressive memos about community spirit. The breaking point arrived 2 months ago. I was reviewing the security footage before making my morning coffee, and there she was, one of Veronitz's drunk friends. A woman whose name I thankfully never learned, trying to hotwire my vintage Boston whaler while her cohorts cheered her on. It was a joke to them, but my blood ran cold. That boat was Silas's last gift to me, sentimental value that you just can't measure. That night, the conversation with my contractor wasn't about repair. It was about fortification. I spent $18,000 on a custom 8-foot-tall mahogany gate with a steel core and a hydraulic locking system. The gate wasn't subtle. It was a statement. The thunk it made when it sealed the first time was the most satisfying sound I had heard in years. The sound of pure, unadulterated justice. Veronitz's reaction the next day, priceless. She marched down there, phone glued to her ear, banging on the mahogany like it owed her money, screeching about restrictive access and antisocial behavior. She filed a formal complaint immediately, scheduling an emergency review board meeting at Kangaroo Court for the following Monday. She thought I would panic. She thought I was some clueless out-of-towner she could bully. What she didn't realize was that a CB's strength isn't in muscle, it's in documentation. For 3 years, I had been documenting everything, timestamped photos of their trash, noise meter readings, security footage of the near theft, and every single HOA violation they had committed. While Veronica was busy highlighting sections of the 1997 HOA bylaws in hot pink, I was deep in the bowels of the Pebble Creek Town Hall. The air down there smelled like old paper and bureaucracy. Mrs. Klein, the town clerk who had been filing documents since the Nixon administration, pulled out Uncle Silas's original 1980 to permits. Silas was methodical, she murmured, adjusty.